have changed in so many ways at once. Has the day begun? I lived one life. Has the day ended? I had begun anew, reborn with a new life, a new mission, reborn with a new vision. What may come, I don't know yet, but I am here alive, living my life to the fullest, with new love in my heart and soul, a gift to have, a gift to give, a new life of love, reborn.
Hi. So happy to see you guys. Welcome to Wounds to Wisdom. I am your host, Teresa, and today is August 7th already, 2025. I'm telling you, I'm sorry, the dogs now are deciding they need to revamp their seating positions. And Nathan, hello. I know I've seen you somewhere else, Nathan, so I'm so happy that you're here. You may have popped off, but if you come back in, thank you for being here. B, I hope you're nowhere near some of those fires from Canada because it's really impacting where I live. The smoke index is pretty high, so it's been touch and go with breathing lately. Excuse me. So I am a little tickly. I know. Shh, don't say anything about August. Um, it's a funny month for me. That's where I knew you from somewhere. So it's like maybe it was in my mind it was Truth Wave, but Mr. Floyd's universe. Yep. Well, welcome. You are very welcome here. It's great folks here. So thank you. It means a lot that you made it. So when I was a little girl, August, whether we were sitting on the swing set or we were hanging out in trees like monkeys, um, you could tell how that we were approaching fall. We knew we had a full month before we were going back to school as little kids, but everything started to change and you could sense it. So, Indigo, my heart. So lovely to see you. I got my peeps here today. Thank you for being here. I got my B. I got my Nathan. I've got my behind the scenes folks. So you guys are just tickling my heart. We were just chatting for a minute for me to get acclimated and welcome folks. And so I'm glad the smoke's not too bad where you are. I'm just sorry that Canada's burning up. It's really impacting a lot of places. And this is the second year that Canada has sort of been on fire. So I don't know if that's because you guys haven't had enough rain or what's going on. So I think I was starting to apologize just because I'm a little throaty, little. I'm Kathleen Turner today. Do you know that actress? She was from, oh my God, the sexy movie everybody in the world was talking about. Oh my God, I'm having a brain fart. I have to look it up now that we're talking because Kathleen, Body Heat. All right. My mind isn't that far gone. Body Heat. But Kathleen Turner always had this very masculine, heavy, very sensual voice, but very deep voice for a woman. Yeah, not enough rain. It's a weird world we're living in, people. So we're going to on Tuesday. I'm going to talk about how you guys can practice self hypnosis. It came up this past Tuesday, and I think it's really sort of important. It's an important technique or an additional technique for you to use for changes that you may need a little help with. Um, they say it takes 21 days or so to change a pattern, a behavior, a thought. Um, and so when I was talking with Jimena, she had popped on and we were talking about eating. And I said that I was starting my own self hypnosis because, yes, food is an important piece. I kind of feel like I have a grasp on my food, but the exercise piece, it's been, I got to light a fire under that tuchus of mine and get it, moving and shaking and dancing and grooving. So, I do have a friend. I was part of the Chamber of Commerce here in Massachusetts, and she's a little bit older than me. I don't want to say if she's too much older because she might not be, but she gets on um, Instagram and she does her full exercise routine. And I'm thinking, I admire her for doing it. No freaking way will you guys see me watching TV and doing exercise and recording it. Maybe I should not say you won't. It's very unlikely. I'm all about sharing with you guys, but I poop out too easily when it comes to exercise. So what I wanted to talk about today is sort of the companion topic to the universal laws of the universe. So there are many iterations of this. I focus in right now. Next year it'll be different. Millie, bless you, welcome. Is sort of the 12 universal laws of the universe, and it's sort of this mastery of techniques and their natural themes, and we talk about these in so many ways on so many other channels, right? So some of the things that we're going to move forward with today and will go as long as my throat can take it, is sort of energetic sovereignty. Focus on our individual, and I do usually talk about me. Krumel, bless you. So happy to see you. Thank you for being here, my friend. Sending you lots of love, and glad to see you back on the channel. So reclaiming our personal power, right? And that's done through awareness, and it's done through energetic boundaries. And we do this already, but we use fancy terms. Some of our channels, we all use not everyday lay terms, and we do it already. And this also complements both the law of vibration and the laws of cause and effect. Everything we do has a cause and an effect. Our vibration can be low, grief, sorrow, crankiness, to joyful laughter, happiness. And so there's ways of doing this. And we can do all the woo-woo techniques of aura cleansing, and we could cut cords. I don't do that. I don't do that ritual. Grounding meditations is more of what I do. And in addition, sorry, I thought I turned this darn phone off. There's a concert tonight in our park, and it's actually a decent night. I'll see if I can go. Some local band is playing. It should be fun. I try to take the dogs. It's my excuse to get them out walking. And then we talk about shadow integration, and really that's just honoring the law of polarity, which we have not talked about yet, but it's embracing the discomfort as something sacred, because it's encouraging healing through our emotional journey, our emotional authenticity. And of course, we talk about journaling and those kinds of things, prompts. And I gave some on Tuesday. Um, and so, when we talk about even, conscious manifestation, um, we can build on the law of attraction and the law of inspired action. And I actually think Jimena mentioned this a little bit today on her channel, but we talk about the law of attraction. We all want something, but in order to achieve or acquire something, piece, an object, a Ferrari, a house, a mansion, um, a campsite, a tent, whatever it is, you have to do something in order to achieve that. We're not part of, snapping our fingers and having it. Indigo said that, she finds that she grows the most when she's uncomfortable or challenging ideas and pushing herself to be better. And I couldn't have said that any better myself, Indigo. That is absolutely true. And, that's part of why people don't like therapy. They don't like healing circles or groups. And those things, we do grow from those things because in order for us, think about a butterfly, I'm going to make a note that maybe we'll read this book or I'll bring up some pieces from Franz Kafka's Metamorphosis, because the journey is that becoming a butterfly is not an easy journey. They look beautiful, right? Because you see them after all the iterations of becoming a butterfly. That's what we all are. We're in various stages, and it is awful to come out of that cocoon and climb through the gook and the sticky, mucky, schmooky, all the, stuff, and clean off and then become the butterflies that we were meant to become. So let me just make a note to myself, because I was just telling a friend and my brother that my brain, I have great intentions, but I don't remember things. Metamorphosis, and I read it a bazillion years ago when I was actually in high school. So that's a long time ago. So, achieving, wanting something, it's more than wishful thinking. We have to embody it and co-create it. And we can do this with vision boards. I took this class, and I think I've shared this before. It's called The Living Art. My teacher's going to rename it. But in it, towards the end, one of the things that she wanted us to do for ourselves was to create a vision board of what it means to be wealthy. What does it mean to have wealth, to be rich? And as I was, and put it on like a Pinterest, or there's other vision board apps. And I started to use Pinterest. And what mine ended up being, I'll share some, not all, were gardens. Sacred gardens, hidden gardens, small home, nothing fancy, but, still nice. I want a grown-up house, not a collegiate throw shit together. And, I want it nice. I want it put together nice. But and I had a lot of pictures that I also put in of groups of friends sitting around a bonfire. Not a bonfire, a fire pit. So, these are things that made me wealthy. It was less about my bank account. Now, don't get me wrong. If I was fairy dusted, sprinkled a gazillion dollars, I'd be tickled pink, because I'm not keeping most of it. I don't need a ridiculous amount of physical money to be happy or to survive. I really want my life to be of service. And that's something that I just recently, I think I've talked about this before as well, is I take a piece of paper, I fold it in half, and one half I write, what I have and what I want. And it comes to building your wealth vision. And for me, it might sound simple, but it was the Sunday dinners of my life that brought me the greatest joy. Having people around and laughing and busting each other's chops and uh, playing games. And it was a whole host of games. Those are all things that made me feel whew, rich and joyful. Money is helpful. I'm not going to be, naive about it. And money can help in so many other ways. But one of the things that has been mentioned multiple times on my channel and other channels is you can have all the money in the world, it's not going to bring you happiness. You have to do things to be happy. There might be a convenience or a less financial stressful way of being, but it's not going to guide you to where you need to be. And those of you that are on this channel in discussions with me, most of us want to move forward in our journeys. And maybe that comes with age. I don't know. Our priorities are a little bit realigned to our experiences. Indigo says, I just want money so I can pay things consistently. That's it. The real value, the value is real connection and friendship over money. Again, Indigo, you're in my head. Get out, sit next to me. And so it's very true. And I know people with money, and they are the most generous of spirit, of friendship, of connection, of money. But it's also not, it's not a flashy thing. I also, one of my very first boyfriends had at the time what I thought was more money than God. And it was always flashy. The certain car, the certain eye shade, sunglasses, it was too much. And I never fit in because those things weren't important to me. I didn't even know what half the stuff he was flashing was. I think I shared once before, I was a Kmart shopper or an Ames department store, which is so far down, in old generations. And Carmel, I'm reading and I see the comments that you're getting better. You still have a lot of negative things going on. And so we are all sending you love and light, my friend. If any of us, I'll speak for me, if there's anything that I can do, just be a voice or you need someone to just vent to, I'm here. So I'm on, you can go to Messenger and send me a message. And I have been trying to get better at checking it. So I will make that a point. So we send you love, so much love and compassion. And then, we talk about, embodying all of the wisdom that's out there. And we can do that by integrating these laws into our practices every day, right? Using breath work, which we're going to practice some more, movement. So I got to get my groove on, and creating a routine. People call it rituals, routines. And that's whatever it is for you. I leave the hippy dippy stuff to the experts. I'm not an expert in the hippy dippy, but I do have certain crystals that when I'm feeling all sort of clumped up and corroded, I can grab that and just focus on my breath. And I was just sharing that last week. I had a really angry moment at myself. And I'm embarrassed to share, but I'm going to share that I had misplaced something that was incredibly valuable to me. And I could not find it. Now, I'm in a small place. And I know that if I take a piece of jewelry off and I put it down, odds are it's going to be in the same place. Because I am still unpacking boxes, and I am packing new boxes to give to other people. My personal space is chaotic. and I could not find it. I tore my place apart, sobbing, because it's my talisman. Um, I have, very little valuable jewelry, and I usually wear my um, Mother Mary heart. That was my Nana's. I wear my mother's engagement ring as a necklace. And then I have another necklace that I had purchased upon my Nana's death, that the three of them mean something very important. And then I have a fourth necklace that a friend of mine gave me that is of sapphires, that is very energetically charged for me. Um, and it's a lot, it reminds me of love, but it's been hot. And even now, and it's beautiful. What pupper? Um, it's, I just can't wear it around my neck right now. I want to claw. Anyway, when I was on the phone with my brother berating myself, I hurt him, I think. I upset him because I was violent and hateful towards myself. Now I know better. I know better. I have all these beautiful laws. I know words have meaning. And I was furious at myself for disrespecting something I claimed to honor. I did find it. I cried. I got on my hands and knees. I was on my knees thanking God, thanking everything around me, everyone I prayed to, St. Anthony. I said a thank you to my brother because he made me look in a place that I sort of scanned through. And I had taken that necklace off at my other brother's house when I went to say goodbye to my dad for the last time. And it was hot at that time. And I was incredibly agitated. So I took it off and put it in a safe place with my medication, hoping, that when I got home, I'd freaking remember. And I didn't. And it's been months. My dad's been gone 2 months. And I kind of wanted to wear it because his memorial service, his celebration of life, is on Saturday. And I'm in the middle of writing his, like a little brochure that people have at these celebrations. And I'm writing his eulogy, which I have written 3 versions of. And I was very all flummoxed. And I had to sit back. And do I have it here with me? Right now, I'm in a little bit of a chaotic space at the moment as well. Well, I had a crystal, and I grabbed it as I was after the fact and after I had spoken to my brother. And I shared this story. I was like, I don't know why I'm so angry. I have anger globally. And it was so easy to turn it against myself. What does that say? And that's a topic that I'll dive into really deeply with my therapist. And, because that's not the way I want to be. And yes, it pointed out to me that I'm living in chaos. And as we talk about in all these laws, you can't have clear thoughts if you're living in chaos. So you have to clean your thoughts. Well, I have to clean my space in order to clean my thoughts. And that's where I was going. And I think a couple of weeks ago, and Indigo was on the channel with me as well, we were talking about, I think it was you, Indigo, purging and, having too much stuff that doesn't have any meaning. But when you go to find the things that have meaning, you're like, what the heck did I do? All right, let me get to the comments. So bear with me, guys. I just want to scroll back up because I see the chat moving. But yeah, Indigo, we're in similar, lines or legs of our journey. You came to the conclusion in your 20s and you're 35 now that things aren't as important, but people are. Oh, thank you, B. And yes, we are here for you, Crumel. I know you work things out on your own, and I get it. I just want to offer you space if you need to. Yes, it was you, Indigo, still working on cleaning space. And I'll tell you, that lit a fire under my behind because I was so determined that I was going to find it through the tears. And now that I have found it, it's like I have to have a memory. And for me, I have visual cues. It has to be in front of me. But I can't put things in front of me if all I have is crap all around. Anyway, that's my little, 2 cents on that topic. But it was really trying to be honest with, we're talking about incorporating these laws of the universe. And it takes thoughtfulness. It takes intention. I don't know if any of you have been on Shara El Pathway Ascension with Tanya Baldwin on her channel. She's been talking a lot, some really fantastic topics. And a lot of what I'm sharing is also coming from there. Reclaiming our energy and our space and being aware and self-aware. And so that's part of what I want to talk about. So related to all of these conversations, it's our frequency determines what we attract, right? The energetic choices ripple outward. Does that make sense? So if you were to, write or draw or imagine these energetic boundaries around you, what would that look like to you? And how far away? Is it an arm's length? Is it 2 arms length? Is it 10 arms lengths? Is it your whole town that you energetically create a boundary around yourself? And, it comes down to, how do we ground? How do we shield? How do we clear all of these things that impede our growth? Right? And we can do daily check-ins with ourselves. So I have been an avoider of my cell phone, but I'll tell you, I've been using the notes a lot because when things come to me now, it's kind of like, all right, come back, girl. You are a Reiki practitioner. You are supposed to be and do and are and will be living in light and love. What does that really mean? What do I want that reflection out there in the world to be? But not just a reflection. It needs to be true. Right? We can all talk a good game, and so it's when we're in that phase, what is it that we really want to accomplish? And are we living our truth? I needed some hydration. So, it's not necessarily being perfect. And that's what I had to come to understand about myself and forgive myself. And if I'm going to talk about forgiveness, I need to give forgiveness to me. I've made some beautifully stupid mistakes in my life. Okay. I can't, rewind the movie back to that time period and say, wait, don't do that. I know how the movie ends. Don't do that. Right? We can't just do that. We are our own portals into our spiritual healing, right? Mish, thank you for being here. You'll appreciate some of my movie references. So, in knowing about light and shadow, that they're complementary. And I've talked about the yin and the yang sign. I should have pulled it up, actually. But the yin and the yang sign is in a circle, and you have light and you have dark. You have shadow and wisdom. You have knowing. And it's in this neutral space. So I also think of it as the old self and the new self. I'm working really hard on the new self, the new and improved version of me. The old self is always part of us. I just don't want to live in it. And I want to love it and accept it and forgive it and make peace with it and incorporate it. But I don't want to be putting it on my backpack, and I don't want to be climbing up a mountain with all that crap on my shoulders. You know what I mean? And we also all know as a collective that our low vibrations can be elevated. Our sorrow, our shame, our sadness, our disappointment, our grief, all of it can be elevated with intention. The yin and the yang, it's, such a vibrating visual. It really does let us know that we are children and we are adults. We are both. We came from the womb. Whether that womb was a petri dish or an actual womb, we were birthed. And so that makes us children of someone. Children of God, children of life, children of parents, siblings, grandparents. We are loved. We were loved. And I often have to remind that child, you were loved. It was not perfect, but you were loved. And I know not everybody has had that blessing. So it is, yes, Mish, it is, life is about balance. And this is balancing act. This is what we are. We also sabotage ourselves, right? And that's what I did last week. I sabotaged all the good work that I had been doing in this other class. And I'm just starting a new class under Tanya. And I want to elevate myself. I want to be what I perceive, what I wish, what I intend, what I think I was sent here to do. And partly that is ego. And so, I think when we think about ego, and I'm speaking for me, I'm not going to put this on anyone else at the moment, but I think, we want to be recognized and acknowledged that we exist. That's why happy birthday is so important. I have some friends that are Jehovah Witnesses and they don't do that. And I'm like, they think it's and I understand it and I respect their perspective, that it is disrespectful to God. Okay, I don't feel that way. I was born. What a freaking miracle that is. We came out of a birth canal. Hello. And there's a journey to be had here, right? And I want to celebrate that I've been here 62 years. That it's been a merry-go-round or a roller coaster. I'm still trying to think of the other thing. Merry-go-round. What's the one that goes around? Ferris wheel. That's less traumatic. A merry-go-round goes up and down. So does the roller coaster. And I'm much more of a Ferris wheel girl. I want to keep it even keel. I don't mind going up and looking around and then coming back down where I belong and going up and going down. But the merry-go-round is like, oh shoot, there's never a leveling place. And forget the other one. And there have been days where I feel like that ride at Disney, the Tower of Terror, right? And if you don't know about the Tower of Terror, you're in these seats and everybody's going up together and there's this calm and then it drops like, I don't even know how many stories down. Scares the bejesus out of you. For me, that's not me. I like to be more on an even keel. I strive for the even keel. So that's just my personality. Thank you, Mish. Right back at you, girl. Um, so as we continue, it's the practices, right? So how do we do all of this stuff? And why do we resist it? And that's something that journaling comes in handy. Why am I resisting the change, the evolution, the metamorphosis of coming out of the cocoon? Because it's too hard? Why? And shadow is not a bad thing. I'm learning. When I heard shadow, I really didn't understand the term. And so I still, I don't mind working with, because I love the nighttime and I love the moon, and the moon comes out at night and it's dark. That doesn't make night or dark bad, right? Life is like, I'm not going to say a box of chocolate, but but it is like waves. It's like the ocean, right? Life moves in waves. We expand in the ocean and we contract. We rest and there's a rebirth, right? We have high tide and then we have low tide. There are circles, at least where I live: winter, spring, summer, and fall. Honoring the cycles of life and the different snapshots in time. As I was sharing earlier, August is more fall like for me because it is a coming to an end of my garden, of all the things that I worked so hard for. Now, the garden is still in full bloom life. And my brother constantly reminds me it's not over yet. Don't rush it. September's coming fast enough. And September, October, November is typically our fall here in New England. Um, I know it happens differently in different places for different people. So I still have 2.5 months of growth in my garden. And the way my tomatoes are growing, and the way the cucumbers are growing, and the way the eggplant is growing, um, and my carrots, and my potatoes, and my sweet potatoes, um, I'm really going to be blessed. And that is amazing to me. So I have to work on not rushing things to end. There are seasons. Think about the moon. There's a cycle with the moon. And all of this provides us with guidance. Mish is saying, hold on, sorry, I didn't mean to knock the computer. Constant fight flight mode, these bumps. However, that is what shows us how to enjoy the level we find ourselves. Yeah, I agree. I think, I'm watching two people that I adore more than anything in the world go through the end of their life. They're in their 90s. And you wouldn't find two truer sources of love and light than my aunt and uncle. They are truly the kindest people, the most loving, the most dedicated to their family. And we lost their youngest child, which she had to be 63. She died before she turned 63, so she died at 62. And she was special needs. The old days, they called people retarded, but she was definitely uh, special, beautiful, special. And she died. And it was almost like her death triggered their decline because they had to stay healthy and well to be there for her. And when she died, it was almost like this switch happened to my poor auntie. And her memory is just crap. And my uncle's trying to take care of her and be a support, but his body is failing him. He was a New York City firefighter, and he was one of those that drove the fire trucks. That the abuse these guys take on their bodies driving those trucks, kindest man you'll ever meet. Cycles, life and death, living and breathing. And I have to find a way to be present and to serve with them. And they're not close by. It is a far drive for me. And anyone that's been on this channel knows I hate to drive. Um, and I'm afraid to drive. I don't have the confidence to drive. Yes, I do self hypnosis. We're going to talk about that on Tuesday, but I do a lot of psyching of myself up to get in the car, even to go to my dad's celebration of life on Saturday. It's only 2.5 hours away, a little less than that. Before I get in the car, I'm going to do a blessing. I get in the car, I'm going to do a blessing. There's going to be a whole conversation after I fill the tank up. There's going to be a whole conversation driving the back roads to get onto the highway. And once I'm on the highway, it's like, don't talk to me. I'm going alone, thankfully, but I'll have the music on and that's it. So it's anxiety producing for me. I'm a really good passenger. But I think, it's the self-talk that helps us to make these improvements within ourselves, right? So when we consciously think about manifestation, and we have all talked about this, and there's a lot of people talking about Lionsgate. I'm not eloquent on the topic. I can't really tell you anything about it. What I can tell you is that I do my own full moon rituals, in that it's a calling to me. I feel the moon call to me. And it's more of a gratitude process for me. And manifesting is no different than putting out into the universe what you want. And then using one of the other laws, right? That in order to get something, you have to give, you have to work for it. It doesn't just come. Our thoughts and our emotions and our actions need to harmonize. If you like music, it's got to gel, it's got to jazz, it's got to jam, it's got to be in the groove. Where's Nico when I need him to do the music? Oh, Misha's here. She's my music girl. And so when we think about what do we want to attract and manifest, it's like attracts like. So I've said, when you're a cranky old geezer, you're going to get crankiness back. If you, even though you're struggling and you're achy and you're in pain, but you still put on a smile and you're like, yeah, I got a pain in my ass, but I'm good. How are you? It's like attracts like. Agoraphobic here. When I was driving to take my kiddo to the airport, I would start with my music playlist, songs I wrote. Then I turn my phone recorder on and talk to you all. I talk nonstop. That's a great suggestion. And if I felt comfortable, I might go live doing it. But then you came to the conclusion that I might not have otherwise driving with Ned, and it helps so much. Yeah, so you have a person. I am my own person, and I'm a Gemini, and I have multiple personalities. So, I've been talking to me a long time, and a lot and often, even when I walk with the dogs. When I was looking for that necklace, my poor dog, he was like, "Rrr." He did the whole, "Rrr." And the other dog, almost simultaneously, because he saw his brother do it, he went, "Rrr." And they both gave me the look like, Mommy's losing her shit. What the hell? Did we do something? I'm like, oh. Anyway. Oh, yes, Ned. I'm sorry. You keep changing it. I was thinking of your fella. And I always equate him with Ned being Ned. But you are Ned, and I realize that. So journaling, we've talked about journaling before. I've put out some journaling questions before. The affirmations that we can start with or use. I think this is blah, blah, blah. I feel blah, blah, blah. I do blah, blah, blah. Because I think, all of these emotions that we experience, hate, anger, disappointment, hurt, betrayal, all of these lower vibration emotions can be counterbalanced with love, with forgiveness, with compassion. Again, this is not to whitewash any specific incident. It's and it doesn't mean that that stuff happens today. One thing can happen. I love you. Right? I forgive person A. I may not forgive B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. I only forgive A. Tomorrow I might forgive B. So, you have to work within the scope of what you can handle. You're building a house and you need to take your measurements. You need to put a foundation. You need to level that foundation. Everything needs to be so that by the time you build the facade, whatever you put into your house is your authentic self with flaws. That's the other thing I think is a misconception, at least on my part when I first started out, that if I achieve all these things, there's going to be like an inner kumbaya with myself. Everything's going to be hunky-dory and I'm not going to have any of these thoughts or feelings or negative, energies. And that's not the human experience. That's not what we are here to do. And I do think that, we are here for our full awareness and our full expression of self. And I think that's why when I was talking about doing the Pinterest board of what wealth means to me, it wasn't piles of money. It wasn't fancy cars or fancy vacations. It's really about community and love and companionship. And those are the things that I think, for me, raise my vibration and make me feel like I am valued and valuable. And I just have to keep repeating it until I believe it's true. I had a girlfriend once, and I know this came from somewhere else, but she had said to me, she puts on her, hey, Elizabeth, welcome, welcome. So nice to see you here. Elizabeth also has a really great channel, guys, if you haven't been. I'm getting my thought back. Oh, all right. So we were talking about, she says every day she puts a face on, her makeup on. She's like, and it's very subtle, but it's a way of getting dressed every day. I may feel like crap. I might be feeling like crap. My heart might be hurting, but damn, outwardly, I'm projecting what I want to feel, which is good. And I really always liked that. I don't, for me, that's not as important anymore, but it's definitely something to be aware of. Get dressed. Don't wear all your clothes with the holes in it. Do your laundry. Don't wear dirty clothes if you have the ability to. Sort of take pride in what you are presenting. If what you want to present is light and love. And I say that knowing there's a fellow that walks up and down my street every day. He's homeless. He's been struggling with his addiction for years, and the man has a traumatizing childhood that has led him to where he is. His desire, I think, is very strong for things to change, but his sort of spirit is weak. And there are days where he's had some place to go and he's showered and he's all buttoned up, and wow, he must have really been a looker. And if you speak to him, now I'm a little bit more worldly. I've been lied to a lot, so I can smell bullshit a mile away, right in front of me. But he wants to believe the bullshit that he's selling. And then he wants you to give him money. And it's not for food. And it's not for a place to stay. It's for his fix. And so he has a really painful journey. And I witness someone every day whose journey may not come to a happy ending in this lifetime. And in a small way, that reminds me to be appreciative of every single thing that I have, even the struggles. Let's see. Some comments are coming through. Choo, 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 choo. Where's my cars, money, stuff like that? Those are the opposite of value for me. What are treasures? Your girls, your fur babies, your hubby, the village, and other souls, all of which give you memories and value. Yes, absolutely, Mish. Thank you for putting her channel up. Yep. And if you could find, I should find it. I'll find it. Never mind. I had a thought. It's gone. I lost my train of thought, guys. Let me just give me a second to regroup. So things are experiential. There are people in my life that I've been a Reiki practitioner. I am a Reiki master. All that means is I did the courses. Scotty boy. Hi, Scotty. And so I like to say I'm an experiencer of life. And that this body, this vessel, it's here for my truth. And it's not easy when we look in the mirror to see who we truly are. Our flaws, our limitations, and those are all good. It just means that we get to self-evolve, and we can't look outside ourselves for help. Let me reverse that. So what I mean is we can't look to other people to fix our problems, because we have to want to fix the problems. Yes, do we need a leg up? We may. And so in needing that leg up, I may say, Mish, I need a helping hand. But then the responsibility really is for me to do the work so that there's reciprocity. And we all have masculine and feminine energies, right? So we need to balance those within ourselves. I think understanding our bodies and having either a morning routine, an afternoon, and evening, that helps set us up with guides, with practices, with things that we can put into play to make the changes that we need to make. We can use Reiki breath work, which we're going to talk about. We can talk about moving meditation, which is yoga or dance. And there is a moving meditation skill I can share with everybody. There are daily rituals or routines, with us just getting up in the morning and being grateful for a moment. I woke up. That's great. I woke up. So I think those are some of the things that we can start on a small scale. Then we can start to build on that. So as I shared with you guys, I'm living in clutter. Okay, let me take one corner and clean that corner. And whatever's in that corner doesn't get to just be put on the bed or on the couch or on a table. It has to go to a home. If there's no home, then I don't need it, because you have to respect the things that you have. And for me, decluttering is critical to feeling lighter and more loving and more organized and more direction oriented. When I am living in chaos, I cannot think, I cannot rest, I cannot sleep. One step, one corner, one moment. Doesn't matter if you have 55 rooms or 4 rooms. Does not matter. After I had the boondoggle with my necklace. I was still cleaning, but by that point, there was no place else for me to put things, and I had to stop. I went right to the bathroom. I took all the linens, I took all the towels, I wiped everything down, I dusted and swept the floor, washed the floor, cleaned the tub. Everything was clean. One room cleaned. I could breathe. And then as I go throughout my day, I put things on the stairs to bring upstairs to my bedroom or the hall to store. And I clean the stairs. And that was the end of my major event. Now this week I've been struggling. The air quality has been really bad, even though the weather itself has been pretty phenomenal. I do struggle. So I've been slower to move and do things, but I did spend time out in the garden. So I had to prune things and get my garden and my tomatoes support. So again, yay, accomplishment. These are things that I work towards. So having said that, give yourself some grace. Be patient with yourself. Honor yourself, honor your journey, honor your commitment to those things that you want to improve upon. Okay, so let me there's a couple of comments and then I'm going to send you guys off on the happy trail. Scotty says, I don't know why I'm going to read this without my glasses. We can look outside for guidance, but true growth comes from within. Amen, brother. Elizabeth says, I evolve quite slowly, but I'm evolving, and that makes me happy. Amen, sister. Yes, Elizabeth, leaps and bounds are far. I think that's also one of the more precious thoughts. Small steps. This isn't a marathon. It's not something that we have to finish in 26 miles. We have a long journey. We have a long life if we are so blessed. And in this community, it helps us to recognize I really do have the power. I don't need to give the power to somebody else. I have the power. Oh, Mish. And Mish will do what she can, where she can, the best she can, or decline. You're working on it. Yes, it's not a race. It's yeah, and we end up going in circles a lot. That's one of the reasons why, for me, I'm the one who gets lost in a circle. You have to step off that merry-go-round at some point and say, wait a minute, I need to stop going around and around and around, and I need to get grounded. And the one thing today I'm going to do, I have a really long list. Maybe one of these days I'll be brave and show you of all the to-do things. Now, I used to put time frames on, and that didn't work for me. It was too much pressure. I know that sounds silly, but it was just too much pressure for me. Now, when I get to it, check, and I'm done. And I don't have to do that thing again. So I don't put on, things like cook dinner, because of course I'm going to cook dinner. I have to eat. But cleaning the kitchen, that is a daily thing. But organizing the pantry, that's a once in a blue moon thing. I can put that on there because I need to do that periodically. Creatures of habit, right? But it's the decluttering. It's of thought and mind. I have papers I have to go through and put away. So there's things after things after things. I think I step off the merry-go-round and I'm like, this is something I can accomplish. I have to call the guy to fix the oil burner because we're coming into winter. Do that now so that this poor guy who's going to probably get hit by 500 phone calls because their heat isn't working, I want to be the smart girl and get it done earlier. So it's just be kind to yourself and do whatever works for you. Scotty says, I'm the guy you put in a round room and tell me to pee in the corner and step back and watch me go. I can't think of a better way to end our show today than that. Um, thank you for that, Scotty. Thank you guys for being here. We're going to talk on Tuesday about creating a script of self-hypnosis for you to help change patterns and behaviors that you've been wanting a little push to do and struggling to do. And I'm going to share my journey in doing that as well so that I can exercise and get my physical self healthy to carry everything else that's got to go. Because if the physical is not healthy, it makes everything else 10 times harder to do. So I can't believe I'm saying have a good weekend. Please keep me in your thoughts on Saturday as we celebrate my dad's life and send him off to his journey. I would really appreciate that. And send me some safety prayers as I'm driving on the highway and keep me in your thoughts. I would greatly appreciate that. And until I see you all again next, I send you with love, with light, with healing, with compassion, with joy, with honor, with goodness, sprinkled with a lot of laughter and giggles. You guys are in my heart. I so appreciate you being here. It means so much to me. For those of you that are new, please like. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. That means a lot as well. And
I'm like an ice skater dancing out for the first time on the form solid ice. No more fears, no sorrows, because I love the common tomorrows. This life has barely begun, but now I know what I want to do. I know what I want to be, reborn. Finally feeling I am fulfilling my destiny with a heart filled of gratefulness, happiness, joy, overflowing of kindness and love. Oh, so much love. I feel like love is the supportive pillar in my soul, and it only grows each day. I'm reborn in love.